we'd be ready to start this meeting.
Good. Derek just showed up, so voting. So that's 4. So I guess we do have a quorum, and there's Brandy. So okay, we can get things going. Hi, morning. How are you? Good.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order
Morning,
with the approval of the February minutes.
I've got just one question on that.
Okay.
I just was wondering if we could get a priority for the adoption of the priority list. I wrote some stuff down, but I can't read it. So
I'm sorry, what was that, John?
we could get a copy of the priority list for 2021.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll send that to you as soon as with this. Yeah, we'll send it to you, or else I'll give it to you when I see you out there. I'll put a couple in my truck.
That being said, I make a motion to accept minutes. What was it? February 1st minutes.
Yep.
Second that.
I can second it, although I didn't attend, so.
That's okay. You can still
Okay, I'll
second
second
the
it
motion and vote on them.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
All right, thanks, Tom. The next thing on the agenda is for proposals. We did send out one proposal, not to the normal contractors, but to basically engineering firms, because we did get a grant through the state, a Lake and River Enhancement Grant, to basically engineer, permit, and construct, or engineer and permit design 2-stage ditches. Right now, we've got about a half mile of area where we want to put a 2-stage ditch on the gassed ditch, which is clear over east side of the county, basically from Cleveland Road to the tow road, and then from the tow road north to Adams, and then from Adams north to Auten, or Auten north to Adams. If all said and done, it'll be, right now we've got 2,600 feet, about a half mile secured, and we're working on another 1/4 mile. Property owners to get that done. I sent proposals out to do the permitting and the design work for that. The state is picking up 75%, so we would basically pay 25%. I got one proposal back, and that was from Cardno, which used to be the old JF New out of Walkerton. And their bid was for $37,500. And then again, that's to permit and engineer and design. And we would be responsible for 25% of that, which is what, $7,000 or $8,000, somewhere in there, 7,500 maybe. Just off the top of my head, I never was a good mathematician, but so.
Got a calculator in my phone. If you want to give me the number, I can figure it out.
It's 37,500. What?
Don't cheat.
Yeah.
So that would be $9,375.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had.
9,000. Okay. So about 9,000, what kind of we would be responsible for. So, again, the only proposal we had was from Cardno, and yeah.
What's the scope of the work? You say it's a 2-stage ditch. I mean,
a 2-stage ditch, basically take the ditch as it exists now, Randy, and then they expand it out both directions and just kind of let the ditch, basically what they're doing is putting floodplain, attaching floodplain to the ditch. So when the ditch comes up and rises and floods, it doesn't go out into the farm field. It gives it a lot more area to basically stay in the channel of the ditch. The trade-off is you lose farm ground doing that, but you know, you're adding more storage to the ditch for the people upstream and downstream. Plus, there's wildlife benefit to it as well.
So,
And the proposal is to basically design that. There are state standards for width and all, you know, slopes and all that. So, and then there's some permitting involved. So that's what the scope is for the engineering firm to do all that work. And then once that's done, we will have basically be able to hire a contractor and build the thing.
Then who will pick up that cost?
Well,
John?
the state, Lair, usually since they pay for the design for it, next January, I can apply for another grant where they would basically have the same deal. They would pay 75% of the construction. Or we could pay it ourselves out of the gas ditch fund. I don't think it's going to be, the construction of it, I don't think it's going to be very expensive. It's just basically digging the ditch on both sides and then seeding. But to answer your question, Tom, there is a chance next year of getting a grant where the state will pay 75% of it as well. We just have to apply and they have to accept it. But the precedence is if they pay to design it, they'll almost always accept to pay to build it.
Okay.
the gas ditch, where does it flow into? It's a tributary into?
Yeah, the gas ditch is part of Cobus Creek in Elkhart County.
Okay.
And if you know anything about Cobus Creek is a lot like Jude Creek, where it's just one of the most studied and monitored creek streams in the state, just because it's a cold water trout stream and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, gas ditch is not really considered part of that, but it's the main tributary to the Cobus.
Okay. Have we had a lot of calls in that area about drainage concerns?
Yeah, we have a fair amount. I had Bailey cleaned a big portion of it over last winter. Allsop's done a bunch of just, random tree removal, things like that. Yeah, so it is a active ditch, I guess. It's just clear on the east part of the county, so you guys hardly ever probably have any dealings with it.
Mm-hmm. So
Does that eventually get to the Bogo then, John?
What was that, Tom?
Does that eventually get to the Bogo?
Yes. Yes. Oh, no, I beg your pardon. No. The Cobus, the gas ditch dumps into the Cobus at Cobus County Park in Elkhart and then goes into the St. Joe River.
St. Joe, it goes right to the river.
It goes right to the river. Just downstream, actually just downstream of Bogo, a ways, in Elkhart County.
How much, I don't have my paperwork with me right now. How much money do we have in that gas ditch fund?
We've definitely got enough to cover that.
I mean, our share there.
Oh, no, I beg your pardon, Tom. We're in the red. We're in the red by 2 years on that, actually. Last time I looked at the wrong line.
So we would have to draw from the maintenance fund then to cover this.
Yeah, we'd have to go off the general drain improvement fund. But I think this is an important project, and I think we could, I think it's justifiable for doing that, just because it's, it's an important waterway. Elkhart County's doing a lot of work on Cobus Creek. They've asked us to participate in, trying to protect the main Cobus. So, and this is a good way to do that. And all the landowners are involved, on board, all but one that I haven't really made contact with because he's in Florida most of the year. And that's Harold Cunningham, for those of you that know him.
Would the county need to acquire some land then to sound like you gotta widen the bank, the levees.
A lot of the 75-foot easement is already in place. And actually, Randy, a lot of this project will be going in on property that the St. Joe County Parks Department owns. And they are planning on doing, in conjunction with the two-stage, they're gonna do some other stuff through the park on their own dime, but in conjunction with the design for this. So, yeah, we do not have to buy any property. Everything can be done within the easement. And what is going to be done above and beyond is on county park property. So they already own the property anyway.
So where we do it on private land ownership and we get into our 75-foot easement, what about further maintenance then? If we use that easement for expansion of the two-stage of the ditch, then can we still get in to maintain or?
Yeah, all they're talking about, Randy, in this situation's pulling the backs back maybe 5-6 feet on both sides. So, we're only losing 5 feet on one side, 5 feet. And
Okay.
that's just making the top of the ditch wider to handle more flood water. So, yeah, that's not an issue.
So it kind of sounds like we know what needs to be done somewhat.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's simple. It's just unfortunately to jump through the state hoops, we have to have a outside engineering firm design the thing. I asked if we could do it in-house and just kind of build the thing. There's state standards that pretty easy to apply. That in order to get this money, we have to go through this hoop, and that's hire an outside engineering firm.
I see. That was my next question.
Yeah.
If we knew what to be done, let's just go do it instead of spending money.
And quite frankly, once we have this document in hand, we could easily do that. We could just hire an Alsop or Bailey or somebody just to kind of build the thing using their design.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I guess we would go then under recommendation of Mr. John Law that we would accept that $37,500 bid for the engineering design on the gas ditch project.
Well, the number that the drainage board would be supporting that is the $9,305. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
correct.
right. Yeah.
Okay. I would make a motion that we would accept that bid with St. Joe County Drainage Board funding $9,305 of that bid.
I'll second it.
The motion been made and seconded.
It was
All in
it was
favor?
9,375 that the boards. So I don't know that you want to specify. You were
Okay.
$70 short there.
Okay, I didn't. Okay, whatever the number was, if it's 9,375, that's well, yeah. We'll change that.
Okay. I'll have a vote on that, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, guys. Just so you know, McNamara and I did talk about that last week before he left, so he probably would have said the same thing I did, just not as in many words. And so he was on board with, with basically having that go through. So thank you, guys.
Okay. Surveyor's report.
First thing we got is payment contractors, which hopefully, do you guys have that in front of you?
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that includes all of February and previous, right? That's why we got so many.
Yeah, December 7th through February 1st. So yeah, last month, you guys didn't have a copy or something, I think, so.
Yeah, they didn't have anything to see what they would have been approved.
Right. So this month you should have a copy in front of you.
And I would suggest if you decide you want to approve everything, that you do it in two. So the first one would be approving December 7th to February 1st, and then do a second motion to approve March 1st.
Did you hear that, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I make a motion to accept payment contractors from December 7th through February 1st, 2021.
I'd second that. Okay. Motion been made and seconded to accept Exhibit A. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Change of assessments.
Oh, you still got to do March 1st.
Yeah, we gotta do the other one yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
John Law, you've been out and inspected all the work that we
Yes.
just approved and what we're ready to approve here now.
Yes.
And, yeah,
And I was telling Teresa earlier, unfortunately, sometimes in the past, the December and January lists have been kind of twice this long. And the reason for that, one is Bailey's been out with COVID, so he hasn't been able to do a lot. And John, you know the situation with the Allsops. Junior doesn't seem to get out and do a whole lot. He lets Dad do it, and Dad's 80 years old and moving kind of slow, but, yeah, so we're, like I said, normally this is our real busy time, but, situation is that it's not as busy as it has been. Did that answer your question, Randy?
yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can see on these is that in our spare time, maybe we ought to have been out catching some beaver for some pocket change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
no, the price is so low that they're everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody trapping them anymore unless they get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the only one paying for it, so.
Well, you're a nice
Other than
guy.
Elkhart County, Elkhart, LaPorte, and St. Stark, all the surrounding counties, they're in the same situation. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion.
Motion to payment of contractors as of March 1st here, the second.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the change of assessments for December through February. And unfortunately, I don't pay a lot of attention to how John handles these just because I'm not really involved in them. So I'm not gonna be, he's got a list here of several. They all look pretty straightforward. So I don't know how that, you normally handle that, Tom. There's some spots here for some signatures from you guys. I guess we got Derek here. We can have him sign his portion. We could stamp the rest of yours, I guess, since you're not here. But do you have those in front of you?
Yeah, would that be all right with council?
I would, if you guys officially approve it and then tell him to put your signature, tell him to put your stamp on it, that would be acceptable. That, or they could, you could come in and sign them or however. But if you tell him you've approved it and you want him to put your stamp on it, that should be.
I think that would be all right. How about you guys? What do you think, Randy? Do we just stamp that?
Yeah,
John?
I'm fine with that.
How do you guys normally handle the change of assessments?
They have
Yes.
to vote to approve them.
Okay.
And they're not ones that are like actually changing what the assessment for the particular amount of land is supposed to be. It's just
Right, yeah, John
getting
gave him,
divided up or deleted or.
yeah, he gave him, when he handed them to me, he said, these are pretty straightforward. There's nothing to tell you on them, so.
Oh,
They're just like splits or combining or something like that normally.
Right,
Yeah.
the first
Yes.
one, it looks like they're making this first parcel number, they're changing it to how big it is, and so the amount that you'd get from that tax ID is gonna change and that sort of thing, as opposed to the actual process of changing what the assessed amount is supposed to be per acre, so.
I called one of the, noticing one of the assessment, the changes was out in my area here, and I called it was on the number 7, I think it was. And basically the landowner there is just parceling off his 5, I don't know how many acres anymore right off him, but he's parceling that off to sell and to save the farm ground. He wants to move away and he wants to sell the buildings. So that's basically what it amounts to. So
Yeah, it looks like they basically went from 54.35 acres, Tom, and they basically broke out 5.65 acres, so.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's,
yeah.
yeah, nothing really,
That is a similar, idea to what is going on for all of them.
Yeah.
They're either,
All of the parcels.
they're either splitting parcels out or they're putting them together.
Yeah.
we've approved this different times and never had any issues that I was.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is up about every month or every other month, and, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of,
It's moving land and assessments around as opposed to actually changing what they are.
I would motion on the first one to start from December 1st, 2021 to accept change of assessments.
I would second that. Yes. All in favor of accepting the change of assessments?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carried.
And then you'll need one for the March 1st one too.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
To accept the change of assessment.
I
Second.
second. Yep. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you so much, guys. Actually, I got one more thing that just came in, end of last week, and John and I did sit down and talk about this. This is an ongoing project by City of Mishawaka over off Douglas Road. It basically, Jude Creek Golf Course, right there. It's the land between Jude Creek Golf Course and Douglas Road. City of Mishawaka is putting in a wastewater treatment plant. I'm sorry, not a wastewater, but a groundwater pumping station for water. They are building some access roads back so they can develop that land for, more,
Big retail development.
big retail development or like the doctor's offices, medical plazas, things like that, kind of what's going on all around the St. Joe Hospital out there. And they are requesting that we reduce the easement of Jude Creek on the north side only from 75 down to 35. And the reason for that is we did meet with them. And part of what they want to do with their treatment plant is they are going for a DNR grant, and the DNR grant requires them to plant trees. Is there a camera?
It's
Basically plant trees along the creek. I
the
don't know
camera
where
is
the
that
camera-
thing.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. Plant trees along the creek
Or if they can see it.
I think it's a little far away.
Yeah, it might be far away, but basically it's an engineering
Better
design.
stand up on the chair and put it in
Yeah.
front of it.
Basically, it's an engineering design. DNR wants to see certain trees planted inside the easement, and they get kind of funny about it because if they require trees be planted in a drainage board easement, they feel the drainage board has the right to come in and rip those trees out at a later date, and they don't want that to happen. So they're asking to basically vacate 75, 35, about 40 feet of easement there so they can plant their trees. And we'd still maintain the 35 feet, and that section of Jude Creek, that's no issue at all. We can still get along there, no problem at all. We don't need the whole 75 foot. So I guess it would be John and I's recommendation to allow them to reduce the easement down to 35 foot through that stretch. And when John gets back, he was gonna kind of record it or do whatever he does to document that.
Now, there isn't gonna be any blacktop concrete
No.
area that would drain.
No, all that's actually built, they build a bridge to cross the creek, and then they want to, from the bridge all the way over to, I guess it's Fur Road, roughly, is where they want to do all that planning for the north, so it would be between the golf course and the north side of Jude Creek. There'll be a water treatment plant there, and then a bunch of nice border plantings along the creek between the treatment plant and the creek. Wildlife corridor, basically, is kind of what they're calling it.
So if we grant the easement, are they gonna let us clean the Judy Creek from this point all the way meandering up through the St. Joe Farm all the way to the toll road? Let the water flow? Got a little bargaining power here, do we?
Yeah, well, this is actually downstream from the control structure underneath Capitol Avenue. So cleaning this stretch wouldn't affect upstream much, but, yeah, the way this is going, Randy, this is gonna be what this section of Jude Creek's gonna be from here on out is, medical facilities and, Mishawaka well fields, things like that, so.
Yeah, under development, but,
Yeah, it's gonna be all
You know,
development through here. This is the old Penn farm. If you guys are familiar with Penn, Larry Penn there, it's all his farm. He sold to Mishawaka, so, or to whoever he sold to, and they're working with Mishawaka to develop that all.
Is that out in there in the area of Lang Ditch and this and that, John?
No, other side of the river, Tom, north side.
Okay,
This is Jude
Okay.
Creek,
yep,
Mishawaka area. Up, yeah, right, real close to St. Joe Hospital.
okay.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, I'll get with you later. Thanks.
We do still have a quorum without him, so.
So, yeah, guys, it would be my recommendation that we just go ahead and allow, DLZ to reduce that easement down to 35 feet. And there again, it doesn't affect the ability to work on the creek or the ditch, Judy Creek at all through there. It's just, it's planting north of the work area, I guess. And DNR just wants to make sure that, we don't come in there sometime down the road and tear all their trees out that they're wanting them to plant.
We'll be able to trim them though if they're later on they grow they grow and start growing the limbs start getting out into that 35 foot we have. We can trim them.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
How long a stretch is it that you're asking for? How many feet footage? Is it 1,000 feet or more or less?
Gee, Randy.
I just had that.
It's basically they built a road. The road's already there, and it's from the road west. I don't have glasses on, and these numbers are way small, but I'm going to guess that was built kind of on a half section line. So going west would be probably a half mile, so 2,600 feet. A lot of that's taken up in private ownership on Long Fir Road, so half mile, 1,600, so probably about 1,800 feet, I'm gonna guess.
Okay,
And here again, like I said, that stretch through there is, we can work on it. They're just planting trees north of where we would work. And right now, it's all ag ground anyway, so.
And if you're concerned
Cool.
about the ability to trim the parts of the trees that may grow over where the easement is, you can always approve it, saying, subject to the condition that you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, very, very good, thank you.
yeah, that's a good idea. I think we need to do that. We need to have that.
That's absolutely acceptable, Andy, thank you. And
Yeah,
Randy.
thank you, Brandy.
So I guess it's up to you guys whether to make a motion on reducing the easement down and going from there.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we reduce the easement from 75 feet down to 35 feet with the stipulation that the drainage board has the ability to come in and brush, trim the trees so they do not encroach into our 35-foot remaining right of way.
I second that.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you, guys. That's all I have under the surveyor's report.
Okay. I don't think we have anything else. Randy, John, you have
Nobody else
any?
is here, Tom.
Okay. I guess I would ask for an adjournment.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the March 1st St. Joe County Drainage Board meeting.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Opposed?
Thanks for being patient with me. I'm sure this is
Yeah.
twice as long as John